Thank you. Hi, guys. My name is Andres. As said, I work for Universal Music in Germany, in Berlin. And I wanted to present you really quickly just a concept we developed that we call the major startup, which is nothing else than a small division that we have in Germany, and we run it quite differently with a certain angle towards the startup scene. But let me begin with who we are. As said, I work for Universal in the Berlin building, a beautiful building, and we have a small team that takes care of certain topics. So one of the topics is we develop apps, so apps for our artists, for marketing, promotion, but also for in-house purposes to help our colleagues in certain processes and with certain solutions. So we also have located an in-house startup, as we call it, called SpinUp, which came actually from our colleagues from Sweden. We work super closely with our Swedish guys, my friend Ankit and Eddie, who's about to talk right after me. But what we want to talk about right now is what we call startup relation, which is quite different to probably how a lot of corporates work the startup field. Why is that? That is mainly to the fact that how we see or how we define relation. Because when we first started, we said, how do we want to engage with the startup scene? What is our benefit? So we said we won't call it business development because it's not a short-term product-focused action. It should be about a real engagement with the startup community, so with all the stakeholders, with VCs, business angels, and also and foremost founders and people that develop certain tech solutions. So out of that, we said how to define relation. We said that we want to have a real understanding of the field, and we want to have a real interaction. A real understanding means that we want to understand all the the KPIs that you guys work with. We want to understand how you structure your day. We want to understand what you want to achieve with your solution. And we want a real interaction. A real interaction means that we want to have something at the end of the day, if we want to work together and collaborate, that we can focus on maybe over a certain period of time. Not only have a marketing stunt that helps one of our artists, but maybe develop or a sustainable solution that we can roll out over a couple of products that we have. So out of that, what do we do? Or how did we start? When we started 2 years ago, we said that we wanted to adapt the workflow of startups. So what we did is we brought in all the tools. We brought in a different time management. This is what we call with the settings. So we have daily stand-up meetings. We also work in sprints, so that if we collaborate with someone, we can really easily adapt to the cycles that tech startups work with. And the third thing is that we said we need to adapt the language as well. I work closely with a colleague, Jonas, he's not here, but he takes care of the VC world. We split at that because I said I need to understand more what founders actually look like when they work on music tech solutions, what they want to achieve, what are the personal interests. And Jonas, of course, takes care on the other side of the VC world to understand what is the fund strategy, what's the average ticket size, how much do they want to invest, so that we can maybe sometimes even bridge the gap and connect the right dots. So why do we do that sort of stuff? At first, what was interesting to me when I started at Universal Music is that actually Universal Music has a long history and relationship with founders. So the Deutsche Grammophon, our core classic label, was founded by an inventor. Then we have Island Records, which was founded by a music producer. We have Capitol Records, which was co-founded by a songwriter. And we have also Def Jam Recordings, which was founded, I think, by Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin. So it is in our DNA, and when I started, I said, okay, we need to put it in a certain place. We need to create an interface where people can talk on if they have a certain tech solution that they want to present to us that could enhance our business. So this is actually the main reason. So if we state that why are we doing this in Germany, we want to create an interface for the not only for the Berlin startup scene, also for the, for the startup scene in Germany in general, also in Switzerland and Austria. We want to become an interface that people that are actually, working on some solution that don't know whom to approach at Universal Music, that they can find us easily on the web, and that they know that if they come to us and present us their metrics, their solutions, the whole idea and the platforms, that they have a counterpart that is actually keen to know more and understands all of the values and the propositions they bring to the table. We are also doing this because we've understood that innovation is nothing stiff. A lot of people and a lot of corporates talk about innovation and how they want to tackle it. For us, it's nothing that we can put in a room and that will solve all of our future problems. For us, innovation is more of something liquid. So we have to constantly interact with it. So as soon as we have understood that the tech market and startups are actually shaping the industry and to a certain degree also setting the pace, we said we even maybe want to accelerate that process. This is why we want to have that interface where we can have an open discussion and help startups to get to the next level. So how do we do it? Just a couple of examples. So at first, we are constantly expanding the network. As said, we have now satellites in Sweden. Stockholm is a very interesting startup city. We also want to work closer here with our office from Finland. And what we also do is, if startups approach us, they got to have a certain level, a product, a beta or something. But if they have a really interesting proposition and they're not at that stage, what we also do is we try to mentor them. We try to connect them with business angels, with stakeholders in the industry that can maybe help them to get to the next stage. Then, of course, we have the collaboration approach. We did a couple of stunts. We did a stunt for the Deutsche Grammophon with a startup from Denmark. We're also working closely with a startup in Germany. And we also have another thing in the pipeline from our Swedish office. And the last thing is that we take these learnings, we bring it into the company, and we try to ping it back to the community. So this is where we're going to have a workshop, I think in a half an hour, where we actually want to talk about what a major player in the music industry is looking for when startups approaches them. So it's quite different, because usually the pitch is really corporate-like or VC-like. The pitch to us should be different. And if we can talk about that, then you guys can improve your decks, and it will be easier to interact with us. So maybe just 4 short examples, what we have done so far. We just had a music hack day with our friends from Spotify, SoundCloud, and Axel Springer. It was the first time we opened a certain data bulk that we have over an API, and we feed it into the hack. Our colleagues in London, they run an initiative called Abbey Road Red, which is an incubator program from the Abbey Road Studios, from the great Abbey Road Studios. So John Eads is running it, and we're constantly trying to push him music tech startups, because we saw that in Berlin, I don't know why, but there's a lot of audio tech going on there. So these are the guys, where we try to feed everything in that we get from that space or that vertical. We also mentors in a program called A Flying Elephant, which is an incubator program from our friends from Vestec Ventures, which is very interesting. And we want to expand it, actually go into more regular mentoring programs. And we also partner with the Tech Open Air. And this is the last thing that I wanted to show you maybe. We hosted the official speakers and founders get together, and at the same time we wanted to do something with the community, so we decided to do a so-called satellite event. So we invited with our friends from the European Innovation Hub, I think it was 8 or 10 audio tech startups to our office. We gave them space, and we invited also a lot of VCs. And what we did, because at the first time when we thought about audio tech startups, how are they applicable to our business as Universal Music, I immediately thought that this could be highly interesting to artists, because audio tech startups are mainly focused around audio tech in the studio. So producers and artists, they work in the studio. I don't work in the studio. So what we did then, we invited a couple of them, and actually really a couple of artists showed up and had a great time, because they could interact with people that are creating next level products for the studio. So that was really a really nice case that we had. That's actually it. This is how we do it. And yeah, thanks for your time.